Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Today I'm continuing through my record collection and I'm stopping on The Doors. I have six of their albums. I have their six studio albums with Jim Morrison. I kind of stopped there. I wasn't interested in The Doors after Jim Morrison passed away, and I know they did one or two more albums after that. So I'm going to be talking about just their six studio albums that they did with Jim Morrison. And then I have like a greatest hits. Then I have an album that I showed you before that came out in Paris, and it's kind of like a bootleg or something. And then the last kind of thing that they did using Jim Morrison and his poetry in American Prayer. So I'll be going over all that with you today. So today's all The Doors. I figured that's enough for probably, today's episode to talk to you guys about. So anyway, let's sit back, kick your feet up, and let's talk The Doors. Okay, so today we're talking The Doors, and while my record was playing and my little blues intro was going on, I went and got these guys. I have the pop figures here of The Doors. So The Doors came together in 1965 in Los Angeles, and the four guys in the band were Jim Morrison, right there, pop figure number one, Robbie Krieger. Where's Robbie? Right here. He's got that curly hair, so he's pretty distinct. He's the lead guitar player, main guitar player for them. Ray Manzarek. Where's Ray? Right here. Has the glasses, and he's kind of like he keeps it all together because he's the organ player, keyboardist in the band, and he really was doing just stuff with both hands and his feet and everything going on. So Ray Manzarek was a big part of the band. And then you have John Densmore on drums right here. So those are the four guys in The Doors. And I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Doors, but, Jim Morrison was definitely a lively character. I heard that the movie was a little bit off from the actual Doors, but seeing live footage of Jim Morrison and all that, he definitely must have been a real character. So anyway, we're going to start with, so they got together in 1965, and their first album, self-titled The Doors, came out in 1967. And this had, big stuff on here. Break On Through to the Other Side, Crystal Ship, Alabama Song, Whiskey Bar. I love that song. Light My Fire, of course. No, that's everybody knows that song. What else is on here? The End is on here, and that's a very... is that the one that was in Apocalypse Now? It might have been. It's very dark, that whole thing. So you gotta check out The End. But anyway, The Doors, 1967. Definitely got to check that out. This one's on black vinyl. Got a good sound to it, not a pop on it. So if you want to get into The Doors, definitely check this first one out. And at the end of the video, I'm going to kind of rank these albums. So stick along for that. I kind of took my time, listened to every song, and actually rated each song. And at the end, I looked at it and I was able to determine which ones I thought were the stronger albums just by what I liked. So anyway, the second album they had came out later in 67. The first one, The Doors, came out in January. Strange Days was their second album that came out in September of 1967. I always like the cover of this. It is kind of a strange thing going on there. And the backside is interesting. This is on black vinyl. Sounds good, not a pop. And the songs featured here are, let's see, what would be the big hits? People Are Strange. Can't find. And When the Music's Over. Those are two good songs that I like. But this is a solid album. Good stuff on everything. Your Lost Little Girl, I like. Oh, Love Me Two Times is on here also. So this was The Doors, their second album, like I said, September 1967, Strange Days. After that, we had 1968, and Waiting for the Sun came out. This is a cool picture. I always like this picture of them, and I wonder if that's, that's actually... that matches the pop figures right there. So you have Ray Manzarek with his arms crossed. There he is. So I just realized, yeah, Jim Morrison has his arms crossed. So those are actually taken up from that. So that's pretty cool. So those are my Waiting for the Sun guys right there. This opens here. You can see that those are the Celebration of the Lizard, Jim Morrison. So there's your poetry right there. Jim Morrison was a poet. Interesting guy, and his visionary, you could say, in his poetry. And the album is down in here. It's like in a little pocket. So tied in right there. So it keeps it in there from slipping out, I guess. So on Waiting for the Sun, we have Hello, I Love You. Let's see what else is on here. Unknown Soldier is a cool song. Spanish Caravan. And 5 to 1 is on here. So this is a good album. So like I said, this is Waiting for the Sun. This came out in 1968. There's your backside of it. And then we had Soft Parade that came out in 1969, and I believe this is one of the weaker albums for me as far as that goes. I think this is where Jim Morrison was, I can't remember what happened with him, but he was kind of off, and the other guys were kind of compensating for it. And to me, it just sounded, the Doors could go borderline, you know, they were a rock band, but Jim Morrison was more of a talker than a singer. I don't know if that makes sense, but with the keyboards and stuff, it kind of cross over into a little cheesiness, in my opinion, sometimes. Almost like, sounds like 70s show tune kind of thing going on, or 60s kind of thing. So this one was a little more on the fluff kind of side for me. But this is called The Soft Parade, and it came out in 1969. You can see it's on black vinyl there. I mean, there's the back side of it. Let's see, how does it open up? I think it does have a gatefold, so let me show you that a little bit. So there's the original album cover. It's all the songs on it and the lyrics. Cool artwork of the band right there. Inside's kind of cool too. I'm not sure who the artist was for this, but sorry, can't get it in there. There you go. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. Touch Me's on here. It's a good song, but it's definitely more on their cheesier side, I think. That was the one for me, and then the rest of the songs were kind of filler to me. None of them really jumped out on that album. So for me, that was probably their weakest album, The Soft Parade. You can still put it on and enjoy the album. I'm saying it's like bad, but it's just, in my opinion, it's not one of my favorites of the Doors. I knew they could do better. Then what do we have here? Morrison Hotel came out in 1970. Cool picture there. Not sure what the background on that is. And there's your backside of it. This is on black vinyl. No pops, nothing on it. Sounds good. Got to change this out because I still have it in paper. That's just a no-no. Scratch up that album, or it's not good for the vinyl. And the inside there, you got Jim Morrison looking cool. The rest of the guys kind of chilling in the hotel or the cafe or whatever they're in. And the songs off of this, Roadhouse Blues, great song, just great song. Waiting for the Sun, which is interesting because he had Waiting for the Sun, the album, and the song wasn't released until this one on Morrison Hotel. I don't know why they did that, but there it is. Peace Frog is cool. Ship of Fools. Land Ho is interesting. He starts off with that Land Ho like thing. And those would be the highlights for me. So this is a good album. Not one of my strongest for them, but definitely, like I said, I can put any of these Doors albums on and enjoy them. But I can definitely tell where they were on their game and not exactly on their game. And then their last album. This is LA Woman. This came out in 1971. And Jim Morrison only lived 3 months after this was released, and then that was it for Jim. Passed away in Paris of, I don't know if it was determined, like a drug overdose, alcohol, whatever. I don't know if they really found him in a tub. I don't know how that whole thing worked, but there's the Doors, LA Woman. A good way to finish up, in my opinion. This album took a long time for me to get into. I really didn't like the song LA Woman originally, but it grew on me. So this is definitely like a top 3, top 4 album for me. The big ones on here, Love Her Madly, Been Down So Long. I love that. Been Down So, yeah, that's a great song. LA Woman, I like now. And Riders on the Storm is on this. So it kind of makes you wonder what they could have done past this. So there's your backside of it. And it just shows the songs in them. It's kind of a cool thing here. And it actually has a yellow piece of paper that gives it that look that's sitting in there. Anyway, it's kind of a cool one. Doors, LA Woman. And then speaking of Jim Morrison passing away in France, in Paris, I guess, there was this one that I brought up in a couple episodes ago, maybe one of my first episodes way back, that I got in a box of records. This is called Resurrection. And it's a French fan club, not for sale. The quality is not great. There's some decent stuff, but sometimes it's really bad. It's almost like somebody had a tape recorder and got it and threw it on a record. But it's kind of a neat piece to have. I'm not sure how many people have it, so I just kind of held on to it. It's a 2-record set. It's kind of like the Fats Domino that I showed you before that I have. It's in a, both albums are right here in this little pocket. And it has When the Music's Over, 5 to 1, Spanish Caravan, Backdoor Man, Celebration of the Lizard, Unknown Soldier. Side 1 and 2 were taken from an Irish TV show, The Doors Are Open, recorded at the London Roundhouse, 97 or 868. This is a different show than The Lizard King Plays London. So, I don't know if you hear her. I've got a little Pomeranian down here throwing a fit, so just relax. I'm almost done. Okay, just chill. All right. So side 3, Celebration of the Lizard, 5 to 1, Love Me 2 Times. Side 4 had a medley of Mac the Knife, Alabama Song, and Backdoor Man. So I got to listen to that again. Sounds interesting. Moonlight Drive, Light My Fire, Who Do You Love, and Miami Rap Excerpts. So I don't know what that is. Side 3 is from Stockholm, Sweden in 68. And side 4, Stockholm, Sweden, 68, Jonathan Winter's TV show, and Matrix in Miami. So that was it right there. Jim Morrison, Resurrection. So kind of held on to it, like I said, the quality. It's not there's no pops on it or anything. It sounds fine, but you could just tell the quality of the recording and the engineering is pretty low and weak. Then you had the Doors in Resurrection, by the way, came out in 71. So that was pretty close to his death. Then we have An American Prayer that came out in 78. So this is poetry that Jim Morrison was working on. I guess went into the studio and just recited his poetry. They kept a bunch of it. Then the Doors kind of put it all together, and they went in and put music to the background of it. And I made a reference before when I talked about Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen he sang a little bit, very deep, but a lot of his was poetry, and he spoke it, and the music went right along with it. And this one felt a little forced. It's still cool, but it feels a little forced as far as the Doors trying to come in and put the music together in the background. There are some good moments where it does come together nicely, and some we are just like, I don't know. But definitely some cool stuff, imagery on here, Morrison doing his thing. Your titles are, I guess they're broken down into chapters almost. Side 1 has Awake, and within Awake, there's Ghost Song, Dawn's Highway, and Newborn Awakening. And then like another chapter is To Come of Age, and that features Black Polished Chrome, Latino Chrome, Angels and Sailors, Stoned Immaculate. And then the last chapter on that side, The Poet's Dreams, and that contains the movie and Curses, Invocations. Side 2, first chapter, if you'll say, World on Fire, and that features American Night, Roadhouse Blues, Lament, and Hitchhiker. So I think actually Roadhouse is on the song. And then the last chapter is American Prayer, and that ends it up. So this is the cover. It was kind of like a big deal when the Doors movie came out. Nobody knew about this, and we found out about it, and they were releasing these like crazy. So I got a hold of one on CD at one point. Don't know if I still have that one. There's your back cover. And then you have Jim Morrison doing his thing right there. So there you go. So anyway, that's American Prayer. I put it on there because it is Jim Morrison related to the Doors, so I included that. And then I just finished it up with a greatest hits that came out in 1980, and it just has all the. This is a great compilation of their stuff. Starts off with Hello, I Love You, Light My Fire, People Are Strange, Love Me Two Times, Riders in the Storm. Side 2, Break On Through, Roadhouse Blues, Not to Touch the Earth, Touch Me, and LA Woman. Solid greatest hits. And this is one of my first purchases too. I think it was at a yard sale also, or a estate sale or something like that. Black vinyl, and sounds good. Not a pop. This contains a lyric sheet right there on the inside, and then you got Jim Morrison and somebody, I don't know, let me show you this. Just noticed this, like a cardboard or something. It says Jim Morrison. I don't think it came like that, but you can see it's kind of like stuck on there, like a 3D thing. It's interesting. You can kind of see it now. I can't see it there. And then it shows you all the albums on the back side there. So that is my Doors collection. So I do, like I said, I have all their, you can see I have their Jim Morrison stuff, the albums that they did together with him. But other than that, I might go back and listen to it. I do like the other guys in the band, and I should give it a chance. Just like when Jim Morrison's not in it, it just doesn't feel like the Doors. It's like when you have a lineup in a band and they get replaced and people come and go, sometimes it just loses something for you. I went through all the Doors albums. I rated each song as I listened to them, and then I had a whole rating system, and by the time I was done, I was able to kind of give each album its own little rating, and then it actually fell together very nicely for me, the way I put it together. So for the Doors, my number 6 for the Doors is The Soft Parade. So that was my number 6 for the Doors. Then after that, I had Morrison Hotel as my number 5 pick for the Doors, right there. Then I had Strange Days here. So that was that album there. I had that as number 4. Then LA Woman was number 3, and a lot of people are gonna say, how come you don't put that as their top album? Well, I just felt the other ones were a lot stronger, but this would have been way like maybe a 6 in the beginning. But over time, I've grown to appreciate this album, so it's made its way to number 3 on my list. And this is, again, just my opinion, where I think they are. I can put any of these albums on and enjoy it, so don't get crazy on me. It's just my opinion and what I think of the music, and this could change at any point. Number 2 is Waiting for the Sun. Waiting for the Sun. Yeah. Waiting for the Sun, my pop figures. And number 1 was their debut album, The Doors. Just a solid album for me, with Break On Through, Crystal Ship, Alabama Song, Light My Fire. Just a great solid album right there. So that's my ranking of the Doors, and I appreciate you watching as I'm working my way through my record collection, and I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any comments about the Doors, and maybe you have a different order, I'd like to see that. If you could comment and let me know what your ranking of the Doors is, I'd like to see that, what your top the 6 that I did. And if you want to include other ones, that's fine. I still have to check those out. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe, like I said, comment so I can talk to you. I love doing that. And until next time, you enjoy your music and you take care out there. Bye.